They're business people.
Business people who keep many of their suppliers, meaning donor families, in the dark. According to Dr. Jim Oakes, who used to ask grieving families for tissue donations at the Inland Iron Tissue Bank in California.
And they have no idea that any of this tissue is going to be an object of such commercial exploitation.
Absolutely not. The less you say to the family member and the less time that they are on the phone, the better for you, because they will not find this out.
Even non-profit tissue banks need money to survive, of course, and the one Dr. Oakes worked at was no exception. It got that money by sending donated body parts to tissue companies. Skin was worth almost $1,000, heart valves $1,200, and a set of bones brought in almost $5,000 to the tissue bank.
So obviously there's a financial incentive to get as much tissue in as good shape as possible to send on to these places.
Absolutely.
The more cases you had, the more money came into the tissue bank.
That's correct.
Dr. Oakes told us he felt pressure to bring in valuable tissue, and that he even lied on at least one occasion, telling a mother that her dead son's heart would go to save a dying young man. Actually, the tissue bank sold one of her son's heart valves to a for-profit company called CryoLife for $1,200. The mother then sued the tissue bank, and Dr. Oakes is expected to testify on her behalf. The tissue bank denies that any employee has ever been under any pressure to bring in money, and says they fired Oakes as soon as his lie was discovered. With all the money that can potentially be made from donated tissue, LifeNet's Bill Anderson worries that some of the for-profit companies are giving the whole industry a bad name, which could scare away potential donors.
We're doing a lot of good for a lot of people, and I don't want to see that destroyed. I don't want to see the public confidence in the tissue industry destroyed.
I would really like to think that nobody ever had to go through 58 days of worrying because of a lack of supply of donated skin.
A footnote. The public's confidence in the tissue industry has not been helped much by a series of recent events. Last November, a young man in Minnesota died after receiving infected knee tissue from a for-profit company. The Centers for Disease Control then began a nationwide investigation, and so far they've found 25 cases of similar, though non-fatal infections in patients who'd received transplanted tissue.